Let me bring in Erik Horne. He is a writer covering the Thunder for The Athletic, and he was there last night in Oklahoma City. Erik, thanks for joining us. How would you sum up last night?
Oh, thanks for having me, Dan. And I guess I'd start by saying it was just strange. I kind of tweeted this out with the story that I wrote that I'd never been in an arena as long as I'd been there last night and not covered a basketball game.
When did you get an inkling something was up?
In pregame intros, after they introduced the players, and then once they got ready to tip off, it just took longer than usual. And the officials were kind of talking to each other, and then the Thunder's basically head doctor Donnie Strack ran out, and that's when you knew. But actually, I take that back. The real indication, not even when Donnie Strack ran out, to me it was when their assistant general manager, Rob Hennigan, ran out. Because it was like, okay, this is like a front office guy on the court before tip-off. Like, you never see this. And I was just like, okay, this is definitely related to coronavirus. You don't want to be speculative on the internet. So you just kind of sat there and soaked it up for a minute. And then once the music kept running, once those guys kept talking, and then the players looked confused, you were like, "All right, this is the thing. This is it. This is real."
And I applaud you for this tweet. In the name of not spreading misinformation, I won't speculate here. Lot of people trying to gather as much info as possible, including the teams. Thanks for patience. That was a professional tweet by you because it's obviously a confusing time. But, when the PA announcer makes that announcement, the fans have no idea what has transpired, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Everybody's just sitting there. And, I had a friend of mine text me later that night, and they said that they saw my face, and they were like, I could tell that you were trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And that's exactly what everybody was doing. Nobody knew what was going on. The only people that knew what was going on were, the people within those discussions, and we were too far away to hear what was going on. So, the players are confused, the fans are confused, even the people who are getting the information from the officials at the scores table are confused, and it's basically just a waiting game from there. We'd heard in pregame that Rudy Gobert and Emmanuel Mudiay were out due to illness. But again, you don't want to speculate. You want to wait and get all the details. And then once the team doctor runs out and they kind of confer, and you start to do some reporting as our guy Shams Charania did for The Athletic, and Tony Jones as well, who covers the Jazz, you find out more, and then you can kind of work from there.
How long did the players have to stay at the arena?
No, the Thunder players weren't there as long, from what I understand, as the Jazz players. The Jazz players were there a while. I don't have an exact time as to when they left, but I know that their bus fired up a little bit after midnight. So if you think about when players typically get to the arena, you'd imagine that they were probably at the arena from their pregame, warm-ups and how they get prepared for a game until the end of the night. It was probably about a 6 or 7 hour process for them. The Thunder players were longer than that because from some other reporting done from other outlets, they were probably there a little shorter, and they didn't have to actually get the testing done that the Jazz had to get done.
Did you get tested?
I did not. I thought about it long and hard, but they didn't require us to get tested. A lot of the people that are around the Thunder team weren't required to get tested either. Rudy Gobert was not in the building last night, which doesn't necessarily mean that the virus hadn't been spread to his teammates. But, Jazz personnel, Jazz media who'd been around Gobert, in the previous weeks, and then the players were the ones that took priority.
Mudiay get tested?
I don't know that. I haven't heard anything otherwise about Mudiay or if he actually has the virus. He wasn't one of the guys that was reported as had the virus last night. I would imagine that he did get tested because he is one of the players on the team. From what I understand, they were trying to figure out last night where those guys were going to stay tonight because they stayed in one hotel, 21C, that was on Tuesday night. And they were trying to figure out where those guys were going to stay last night and how they were going to get home today, whether it was on a charter plane or a charter bus.
What are you going to do now?
Write about the NBA. It's kind of like one of those things where people ask me in the off season, "Oh, what do you write about when the Thunder's not playing?" I'm like, "Yo, there's free agency and there's the draft and there's feature stories." It's like people act like the NBA just disappears off the earth once the game's in. There's always something to write about, and this is something that's affecting people more than just on the court. So I'm sure we'll have plenty of things and plenty of angles to write about from there. But we've been collecting stuff over the last few weeks and in preparation for something like this. So I don't think that we're going to be short of content anytime soon. But it is great to have the games. I mean, everybody's right in that sense. The games are what's paramount when it comes to what we do. But I don't think that we're going to be starving.
Erik, good to visit with you. Thanks for joining us. I thought you handled it like a professional last night, and I should not be surprised by that. But thanks for joining us.
You do what you can, Dan. I appreciate you having me on, man. Thank you.
That's Erik Horne. He writes for The Athletic covering the Thunder.